is finish in last position at the race at Daytona. You're on board now with Danny Sullivan. Other onboard cameras we'll be watching from today. This is from Dale Earnhardt's car. He's back in the 5th row of front bumper cam, and then in the last row, Terry Labonte on the inside, and you can see that it is sprinkling just a little bit down on the track. Nevertheless, the green flag comes out. Danny Sullivan got a nice start, but Jeff Brabham immediately up into the wall, nosed in. So Jeff Brabham with a problem comes up against the wall, and they will stop this race as the rescue crews go closely to it. There you see, he really got in hard by the nose as the field strung itself out into the first turn. Now,
Hurley went to the Buck Baker driving school to try to study the tactics of racing these mile opens. So although he's getting passed now by Dale, you see it there, still Hurley was able to keep him at bay a lot longer than a typical road racer might have been able to.
Well, we're seeing some great racing here at Nazareth. It is still Scott Pruitt out in front, being chased by the great A.J. Foyt. We'll be back. At the International Race of Champions, round number 2, Richard Petty in that blue car is chasing.
Wise thing, certainly not thinking of the win.
You have to wonder if there isn't a tire that's a slow leaker on Pruitt's car. He is in second, but he is really falling off the pace and slipping backwards very quickly. Rusty Wallace would be the next one to come up and challenge Pruitt. Wallace runs right now in 3rd.
He could have easily had just a very small rock go through it, a real slow leaker, exactly like you said, Paul. That's what the car looks like it's doing. That's
3-time Indy winner Rick Mears that is trying to work the inside line on Scott Pruitt. And it seems that shouldn't be more than a lap or so, and Mears will be passed. But Mears is back running in 11th place himself, so it is not a challenge for position. It is still Danny Sullivan that is out in front of this fight.
These cars do not have radios in them. It is quite possible Pruitt does not know how far back Wallace is. Wallace is too far back to mount a challenge if nothing goes wrong with Pruitt in the distance left in this race, just 2 laps. But Pruitt may not know that, so he's probably having a tough ride right now.
Well, the interval 1st to 2nd place is now just a tick over 9 seconds. There's Danny Sullivan. He is the leader of the run here. He should be coming around to take a look at a white flag indicating his final circuit here at Pennsylvania International.
One of the few cars that have not had any tire problems all day. Danny started on the pole, jumped him on the start, got a real good start. There's the white flag for him. If he doesn't have any bad tire problems the rest of this lap, he's going to be our winner this time.
Remember, he is the defending national champion in Indy cars, Danny Sullivan. And adding this win in a different form of competition, really a big day for him, especially here at this track, which he partly owns.
Danny Sullivan, a final pass down the backside of the circuit here, lanes it into the corners, unchallenged now. And just ahead lies the checkered flag as Danny Sullivan picks up the victory at Pennsylvania International Raceway here near Nazareth. His team owner, Roger Penske, watching from the sidelines. This is one superlative victory. We'll be back to talk to Danny after this. As Emo looks down, and he's adjusting that brake bias system that Jack told you about just a few moments ago. He continues his lead. Dorothy Schrader moves well to the outside in his battle with Jeff Brabham for 4th place. Brabham catches a couple of cones as he comes off in the corner.
A lot of those cones are out there to protect the runway lights, Paul, and I'm not too sure they didn't get one there.
Allenzer Jr. makes a charge on the inside of Dorsey Schrader and gets around him, so Little Al has picked up a position now and is lined up just behind Jeff Brabham.
Little Al's perfectly aware right now that if he waits too long, his tires are going to go away. Get a little bit hot, a little bit slippery, so he's going to have to start doing some passing pretty quick if he's going to do it.
Emerson Fittipaldi continues his lead, representing the Indy cars, then road racer Martin Brundle, IndyCar driver Danny Sullivan, and road racer Jeff Brabham. Back at round number 2 of the International Race of Champions from the Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. I'm Paul Page with Bobby Unser. Jack Arute keeps watch pit side for us. And Martin Brundle in 2nd place is closing down.
After a long discussion with Jay Signori, you've determined that the car was jumping in and out of gear.
Well, that's right. And the problem was I was having to use the brakes harder, so therefore I wasn't being able to stop. And I'd come in and put the brakes on, the thing just going to neutral, and it was getting kind of hard to wall it, and with this wall right down here, I just didn't want to take a chance. I missed a couple of places out there, luckily for the good runoff, but no fun.
You had a problem earlier in the week as well, not out on the racetrack, but you were running your dirt bike and it left you a little sore in the shoulders. This is not too good for that either.
Well, it's still real sore. It was a motor. It wasn't a motorcycle. It was my bicycle. But yeah, I endoed it and landed on my shoulder. But it doesn't seem to bother when I'm driving. Just getting in and out of the car.
So Danny Sullivan out. The fight continues now for second place with our early leader Fittipaldi. Martin got in trouble just a few seconds ago. Got the car around, but in these wide runways, no real problem whatsoever. Hit the tires and headed back into the continuing fight for second place. Martin Brundle still in front.
And you can watch that right front tire.
Oh, he straight loses it, gaps the wall. There goes Rahal by on the inside.
Coming right out of turn 8, and he shortened the car up a little bit. The Dodge doesn't look as good as it did before. That was really sad because Dorsey had a good chance of catching him, but the car looks like it's okay mechanically, Paul.
Well, we mentioned earlier that his car seemed to be a little bit loose coming through those corners, and that's just a little too much loose.
Well, he's driving the car.
Here it is once again. Now take a look at the back end of Dorsey's car. Going into the apex of the corner, the back end's already loose.
He just tried to tuck it down a little bit too low. The car got loose, come out, bam, right into the wall. Really a shame.
The Dorsey Schrader handle just behind him. The fight for second place between Little Al and Emerson Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi in the black car as Brundle makes a right, then a left, and comes onto the pit straight. Ready to flash over the start-finish line once again. And as Brundle comes across, there's the white flag. One more lap to go in this round number 2 of the International Race of Champions. And Little Al is catching Emerson Fittipaldi. Let's watch Fittipaldi and Little Al as they come down toward this first turn. Little Al comes to the inside of Fittipaldi and gets past him under braking. Al Unser Jr. moves into second place. What a drive for Little Al, and you said he didn't have enough time.
The very thing that we thought was impossible, he was able to do. He was gaining a second a lap, and look at how far he's pulled ahead of Emerson right now. We have to assume that Emmo's got some really bad problems to fall back that fast. But Little Al saw it, he went for it, and he got it. Second is going to be a big thing to him in the points battle.
Of course, the one thing that we didn't say is if you talk about somebody who's pretty good at saving a race car, it's Al Unser Jr., and he proved it right there.
And he's fast here at Cleveland. He always has been.
Back on the leader, making his final turns now in the east loop of this course here at the Burke Lakefront Airport. A victory in the 24-hour of Le Mans. Now he is looking at his first victory in the International Race of Champions. Rookie driver this season, his second run, and he joins that long string of names of drivers in the Iroc who have won in their second start.
2 more turns and 1 more straightaway, Paul.
Al Unser Jr. in second place. Fittipaldi, the black car, dropped back to third. He was the early leader. A right-hand turn. Now just one more turn to go. Back to the left. The checkered flags now fly for Martin Brundle as he puts on a little showmanship there at the finish line. Martin Brundle has won here in the International Race of Champions. Al Unser Jr. comes across the line in second place. Emerson Fittipaldi is third.
And you can see Brundle. Boy, it was like, hey, they say that's eating your Wheaties. He's going to show everybody, I'm the champion today.
So Martin Brundle, with a spectacular drive, picks up the lead and the win here in round number 2 of the International Race of Champions. We'll be back to talk to him right after this.
This year, the International Race of Champions has a whole new point of view, because now Iroc moves to Daytona, the new Iroc Daytona, powered by Dodge. A Daytona that's pure racing machine. So now you'll see Iroc racing in a whole new way. Now Iroc drives Dodge, and Dodge drives Iroc.